Mr. Shannon Sharpe.
Man, you know how many times I got turned down for a date? Oh, yeah, I got turned down several times. You know, hey, your loss, you'll see.
I'm attracted to an alpha male. I don't care. He has to be the strong male in the room. He has to be that male that all the other males look up to and want to be. Like I said, I'm all about, I look at him as a cool friend.
What comes to mind when you see Shannon Sharpe? Is he a successful entertainer, a former professional athlete, or just a tough guy in general? While some may think so, it seems Nicole Murphy has a completely different idea of who he is. As the name suggests, Nicole Murphy is Eddie Murphy's ex-girlfriend, and it seems she hasn't quite been able to find anyone like him since their breakup. Shannon Sharpe just so happened to be the person she chose as an object to make that known. How did she do?
A man who has his stuff together, who's on point, who's a strong male figure, who can, like I said, people respect and admire. That's my type of man.
Frankly, that sounds a little crazy from a distance considering the man is a hunk and a really wealthy one at that. But it seems Nicole got to experience a part of him that the world never knew existed. Nicole recently put one of YouTube's biggest sensations at the moment on blast. It seems the model believes Sharpe isn't man enough to handle her.
To win my heart, hey, who knows? But I do like a guy that, I'm a little spoiled, I ain't gonna lie.
The mother of Eddie Murphy's children recently appeared in an interview and talked about Sharpe. Given how dissimilar their professional paths are, you might be wondering why Sharpe's name even came up in those conversations. It turns out that Sharpe had been mentioning her on his show for some time.
I can't remember ever being turned down for a date.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I just can't remember it.
But the lucky was that, hey,
Was that the number of ladies who attended Murphy's program, which millions of people watch, may not have been overly impressed by a man who continuously flatters them, but it appears that Nicole's admiration for a man who can treat people well went far deeper than this.
A guy that can treat me like a queen and do certain things, I'm just used to a certain type of man.
The model provided some strangely detailed information about what appears to have been her and Sharpe's relationship during the interview, which is how we know that. Judging from how highly she talks about Eddie Murphy, Sharpe isn't her favorite ex-partner.
I support whatever he does. I look up to him. He's a great man. Like I said, we got them 5 beautiful babies.
While it may appear that the assaults are restricted to what may or may not have occurred in their relationship, recent events have shown that Shannon Sharpe may be the victim of a smear campaign. Thus, the timing of this is not coincidental.
Person that you've become, more equipment or artillery is being shot at you.
yeah.
You're going to meet a whole new Shannon Sharpe, who is completely different from everything you know. Was his ex-girlfriend Nicole Murphy a tool used to get to him by the powerful people in the industry he's been attacking with his show? Or is he just not the big bad tough guy everyone assumed he'd be because of his appearance?
Women like basketball, one-on-one and as little dribbling as possible.
Really?
Yeah.
Never heard you
Yeah,
say
so all that right there, all that ain't no open down.
A pro football career by the numbers 815 receptions, 10,060 yards, 62 touchdowns, 8 Pro Bowl selections, 3 Super Bowl rings, and a bust in Canton. That's Shannon Sharpe's career statistical rundown. And yet what truly separated him from his peers was his personality. He made his presence felt verbally for 14 seasons, becoming one of the game's greatest commentators, or as they say in the Game-S Talkers, that personality also made Sharpe a television star long before it was his job, but it seems that, compared to Nicole Murphy's ex, that's nowhere near enough. But let's backtrack a little so the story adds up. If you knew anything about Shannon Sharpe back in 2017, then you probably love skipping Shannon, undisputed commentator, for his outspoken and honest opinions, particularly on the politics of sports. But that isn't the only thing the 56-year-old Pro Football Hall of Famer and Super Bowl champ used his platform to be outspoken about back then. For months that year, he used his social media and his seat at Undisputed to let the world know he had a thing for Nicole Murphy, but honestly, who doesn't?
Take Nicole Murphy and Halle Berry at their best looking appearance. And they always look good.
Sharp was finally able to hang out with Murphy, meeting up with her at a Flywheel class in November 2017. The two took a photo after the fact to let everyone know that he was able to score after shooting his shot for the previous few months. He celebrated this meeting by enjoying his beloved black and mild cigar on Undisputed this morning. He said that she's finer than Frog's hair and stacked like laundry in a dorm room. He even offered to give her all of his Fox money and to take her last name, even though it might be a bit thirsty, but it's hilarious. Oh. And it seemed to have worked sharp.
You can get on these woods this early, because it's real early in the morning. Hey, Healy, can you put that photo up? This is what I really celebrate, Skip.
Oh, God.
Healy, you got a picture? That's what I really celebrate.
Sharp's reaction to finally meeting the woman he'd spoken so highly about had fans going off the rails. One person wrote, Shannon Murphy got a nice ring to it as long as y'all got them Grammy gift bags at the wedding. To others, Shannon's reaction was the wake-up call they needed to appreciate Nicole's beauty. The user in question wrote, like, seriously, Nicole Murphy doesn't get talked about enough. I know people started recognizing when Shannon Sharp started thirsting, but like, seriously, Nicole Murphy. And hi Barry, at the time no one knew where things would go, as it wasn't clear if Sharp was single because the former athlete was reported to have been dating a woman named Katie Kellner. At the time, turn out it did lead somewhere, and according to Nicole Murphy, it wasn't exactly the fairy tale she and the rest of the world had imagined. In the interview where she spoke about their meeting, the woman first cleared the air that they only ran into each other as opposed to Sharp's narrative about them arranging a meeting.
Ran into Shannon Sharp for the first time. I was going to a spin class.
Okay.
And it turned out he was there taking the class.
Even worse, the woman went on to call the well-known athlete a friend, even though she was well aware that he had expressed his feelings for her in public.
Come on now. Somebody's saying that about you, I was flattered. I look at him as a cool friend.
She continued to list all the qualities she was looking for in a man, and while many would have thought that Sharp filled the bill, she kind of implied that he wasn't the kind of guy I was looking for. This was the last and maybe deadly blow.
Oh, like I said, I'm all about chemistry, and if you can make those sparks, them little fireworks go off, then maybe you got a chance. But I wasn't around him too much. It was just,
Ouch, that's got to hurt. The statements from the model came as a shock to everyone because Sharp has the appearance of someone you'd instinctively be scared of. I mean, the guy is 6'2", 228 pounds and built like he's going to fight a war. Most people would probably agree it doesn't get much more manly from there, yet all of that seemingly couldn't do it for this woman. Well, fans have a theory on why that is. One person wrote, when she says she's a little spoiled, translation, that only means I like a guy with money and lots of it. That's the way to my heart. LL. Another user wrote, Shannon, shoot your shot all you want, but this is going to be a miss for you, my guy. I mean, look at Nicole Murphy's track record and listen to what she says. That says all you need to know about this woman. Leave her alone. While many people would agree with these fans, others seem to believe what Nicole did and said about Sharp was just one more in a long list of attacks that have been launched against Shannon Sharp in recent times following his attempts to expose the big names in the industry. You know why this adds up, because she used to be married to Eddie Murphy, who, by the way, is 5 feet 7 inches, no shade, but you catch our drift. Speaking of Eddie, Nicole's marriage to him is one of the reasons those fans consider her to only be after a check, and even with that, it still was a train wreck. Eddie Murphy has been divorced from his ex-wife Nicole Mitchell Murphy for over a decade. The two may no longer be married, but they've always maintained a close relationship for the sake of their family and publicly supported one another throughout the years.
I'm not on there dogging my ex. If anything, me and him have a great relationship. We have 5 beautiful kids. I support whatever he does. I look up to him. He's a great man.
After their breakup, Eddie and Nicole went on to date other people, but they never stopped supporting each other. They went on to become one of Hollywood's ex-couples that set the bar for successful co-parenting. However, over time, stories about Nicole's decisions sparked rumors that their relationship was in jeopardy. Nicole and Eddie Murphy, a prominent Hollywood couple, met at the NAACP Image Awards in 1988, went on a seemingly fairy tale romance, dated for a number of years, and welcomed a $5 million for the ceremony and reception they had for more children before they separated, though always picturesque and smiling in public together. Nicole and Eddie announced the end of their marriage in 2005, with Nicole citing irreconcilable differences in her divorce, filing the pair finalized proceedings in April 2006. Nicole reportedly received a $15 million divorce settlement. Despite the turn of events, these two Hollywood exes remained friendly throughout the years, not least of all for their large brood. In a separate statement upon announcing their split, the Dr. Dit star emphasized, "The welfare of our children is our main concern, and their best interest is our first priority," per Hollywood Life. Indeed, in a 2012 interview with Radar, Nicole characterized her and the comedian as friends, adding, "I think that's important when you have children involved. We can be in the same room and hang out." Both Nicole and Eddie have moved on romantically since their divorce, while many already know the details of Eddie's post divorce exploits, fewer are familiar with the loves that came into Nicole's life since splitting from her famous ex-husband. And Nicole Murphy has had a string of high-profile romances since her 2006 divorce. Shortly after her Eddie Murphy split, Nicole was spotted on vacation with basketball legend Michael Jordan in May 2007. Talk about a rebound. Although neither ever confirmed a romance, Jordan also happened to be going through a divorce from his ex-wife Juanita Benoit following her rumored fling with MJ. Nicole began dating NFL superstar turned TV personality Michael Strahan in 2007, with their romance blossoming. The model turned entrepreneur told People in 2008 that although she said never again after her divorce, she and Strahan were a seemingly perfect match. "Michael and I talk about everything, and we both love to travel, explore, and laugh," the Lifebuoy founder said. The couple got engaged in May 2009 in the Bahamas and seemed destined for a trip down the aisle until all screeched to a halt in August 2014. Rumors of infidelity on Stan's part were flung about, with an insider telling TMZ that Nicole got why Michael might be dating another woman in early July and started investigating. A representative for Strahan, however, attributed the breakup to conflicting schedules. "They love each other very much, but with the distance and work schedule, it has been hard to maintain the relationship," the spokesperson said per the Daily Mail. As of July 2023, via her Instagram stories, Nicole was seemingly moving past the Strahan breakup alongside a new mystery hunk. Even then, however, a separate relationship drama loomed over her, the most controversial turn in Nicole Murphy's post divorce love life came in 209 photos emerged of her passionately lip-locked with the married director Anton Fuqua. Shots taken while the pair were abroad in Italy caused an instant media frenzy, as the Well Equalizer 3 director had been married to his wife Lila Roshan Fuqua for over 20 years at that point. So you see, the fans did have a point in alluding to Sharp dodging a bullet. As for why the bullet was even aimed at him in the first place, it seems that was related to an agenda against him, and it seems all of it started with Cat Williams. Shannon Sharp's interview with Cat Williams marked a turning point in his career. The candid conversation, which touched on sensitive subjects, catapulted Sharp into the spotlight, but also made him a target.
Whatever he does, I look up to him. He's a great man.
In a recent interview, Sharp discussed the crazy things he's been dealing with since Cat Williams' interview went viral earlier this year. He also discussed why celebrities feel comfortable enough to spill all of their secrets on his podcast. Sharp explained that before every interview, he makes it clear to his celebrity guests that they don't have to talk about certain topics if they don't want to, which makes them comfortable enough to tell their own story. Sharp has been the target of increasing scrutiny and threats.
I said, "Is there anything that you don't want to talk about?" I always ask the guest that.
He stated that while he understands that if someone chooses to avoid such tales, he He does not feel it is his place to stop them from sharing if they choose to do so. He also believes that anyone who has been in a business for an extended period of time, such as 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years, likely has more than one intriguing story.
That's what I believe. So if they say they want to stay away from it, but if they want to tell something, who am I to say, nah, don't do, you can't tell that. People
Shannon addressed the criticism from those who claim he is not a real journalist. He clarified that he has never considered himself a journalist. As mentioned earlier, Shannon is a highly successful retired NFL player who was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2011. Following his football career, he worked as a sports commentator for several years. In 2020, during the pandemic, he started his podcast Club Shet. Although the podcast initially had decent viewership, it exploded in popularity with the Cat Williams interview, which now has over 70 million views and is the most watched episode on Club Shet. Interestingly, this interview almost didn't happen. Shannon revealed that he had been trying to get Cat on the podcast for about a year before it finally came together. He fortuitously met Cat's new manager, who connected him with Cat. Just a week later, Cat appeared on Club Shet, sharing many industry secrets. Cat Williams was aware that his revelations would have a significant impact on the industry, which he made very clear during the interview.
All coming.
No, they ain't.
Are you kidding?
Nah.
Hey, I
A good
promise
thing
you.
I done got all the rest of them. I done got the ones.
I promise you, everybody trying to double.
And Cat was right about the industry's reaction. While Shannon was enjoying Club Shet's success, he noticed that some people in the industry were not pleased and were trying to sabotage his podcast. The full story includes some celebrities being upset by Shannon's achievements and labeling him in Club Shet as troublemakers, accusing him of stirring up drama in Hollywood. Due to the Cat Williams interview, reports suggest that powerful figures in Hollywood, including people like Steve Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Hart, Tyler Perry, and Clive Davis might be behind a campaign to discredit Shannon Sharpe. But what are their motives? Well, let's just say Cat did not paint them in a good picture during his interview on Club Shet. In the nearly 3-hour interview, the comedy icon took aim at a slew of figures from both Hollywood and the music industry, revealing grievances and airing out loud frustrations. Does this mean there is a calculated effort to undermine Sharpe due to his outspoken views and the controversial topics covered in his interviews? It would seem so, since a lot of rumors about the show host have begun circulating. It is now being alleged that the TV personality is gay, and did some bend over to Hollywood gatekeepers just to secure the opportunity that he has now known.
That Shannon Sharpe called me trying to do an interview. I said, no, Medea, I ain't doing no interview. So you can sit across from me and look at my balls.
A few months ago, Sharpe and comedian Mike EPS got into hot water over remarks EPS made about Sharpe's sexuality. When social media footage of Sharpe performing at a comedy show appeared in February of this year, the comedian implied that Sharpe is gay and that he turned down the former NFL star's request to appear on his Club Shet podcast. The 53-year-old told the audience that Shannon Sharpe had called him for an interview, to which he said, "No media. I ain't doing no interview with you, so you can sit across from me and look at my balls."